Hi and welcome to my channel. Now I'm gonna have a reading for Virgo for February 2020. Let's see what February has in store for you. And I will repeat, as always, that I'm a little late with the reading, so I will read probably something that has already happened in February, you know. But as I always say, it's always good to recognize yourself in the reading and things that already had happened, because that is a little reminder that this is actually a true reading, not like some channels on YouTube that is so fake, that reads not even what the card means at all. We all know who I'm talking about. Crazy angel wings. I will just warn everybody about going to her for readings or for any kind of help, because she's a lost individual and she needs more help herself than she can give anyone. And she's not capable to helping others because she doesn't have empathy. She's so selfish. So I would just warn people, because I think it's very vicious of her to use people's vulnerability, pretending that she connects with the dead loved ones, and that woman is crazy. But I'm not going to do this reading about her. I'm going to do a reading for Virgo for February 2020. So let's shuffle the cards. I know that some of you that knows me and have known me for a long time, doing the exposing videos of angel wings or starlight mystic or whatever she calls herself. She changes her name just like she changes her story. Lie from lie to lie to lie to lie. So no, I'm not going to talk about that. Yes, I'm going. But I have to say that some of my readings lately, or the readings overall, some of you may think that my English is a little bit worse. It's not as good maybe as my commentary videos. And I can tell you the reason for that. The reason is simple. Because when I am reading, I am also channeling what spirit and my guides tells me, and using my intuition and so on, and I get and receive that in Norwegian. And you know, sometimes it's hard to express your feelings and thoughts in your own language, but when you have to translate a language that you never uses other than those few videos that I have been putting up on YouTube, so that's why it's a little bit worse, because it's not just me talking like always, because I put a lot into these readings, and for me it's very important to channel and to listen to what my guides say and what my intuition says, and also what the card means. And sometimes it's not easy to find the right words when you is not using that language never in your day-to-day life. But it's a long time since I have been putting up some videos, so practice may help a little bit, but I think the most important thing is that I make myself understood and that I can deliver those messages to people who really need to hear them. And that is the most important thing to me, that if I'm just making myself understood, I don't care about the pronouncement or what it is in English. So, look, there is starting already. But I will focus now. Just did a little prayer there. I have already saged the cards, as always. Let's see, Virgo, what's in store for you for February 2020. It's a new decade, you know. And the older you get, the faster the time gets goes. The faster. Remember when you were young, and the time. Oh, when we waited for something. Oh, the time never come. You know, you were sitting there. Oh, so bored. But now you can't handle to do all the things that you should have done. When we were young, we felt that all we ever had was time. And now we never have time. So that's a funny thing about getting older. So let's see, Virgo. And something I don't remember if I mentioned it in Gemini's reading, but Mercury has gone retrograde, you know, and let's see, and it will be retrograde until I think it was the 9 or 10 of March. Yeah, I think so. And then it will start to slowly go forward again. So for some people that has Mercury in their chart will feel like this is a heavy time for you. And I was thinking about doing a live about the Mercury retrograde, because I have so much to tell people and learn people about it, because so people not just see it as a very hard time, because of course it is a hard time, but it's also a time with lots of possibilities to do over things that you have done wrong, or to look inside yourself and take your quiet time and charge your batteries. But because Mercury retrograde may slow you down, but the Mercury retrograde is also a very good time to look inside yourself and look back to the last time Mercury was in retrograde, and what you have done within those months, and if there's something that you need to do over maybe you even have had a fight with a friend, or lost contact with a friend, or something like that. Or there was a thing that you had to do but you didn't do it, or you did it wrong. This is Mercury retrograde, is a chance to do it better and wiser this time, and to look inside, deep inside yourself for answers. So it's not just bad, it's also necessary, because some people, especially Mercury people, have a tendency to go very fast and live very fast, and they need this time to retract themselves and slow down a little bit and take care of themselves and people they love, and as I said, do things over. But it's not just people that have Mercury in the charts, because everybody is affected by this retrograde, because Mercury stands for communication and traveling and so on, and the written word and the spoken word, and as I said, traveling. So it's very important to know that things that are decided, or time that trips that you make this time might be cancelled or delayed. Your bus might be late, or your phone or your computer might strike. So it's not just twins and Virgos and people that have those signs in the chart. Everybody is affected somehow. And for you that is going to get married or engage, it's very important to know that never get married when Mercury is retrograde, because that brings unluck to the marriage and difficulties to the marriage or engagement. So you learn something after all. So maybe I don't have to do a live. Let's see. Virgo. My dear Virgos. The sun is in Virgo's 7th to 8th house this time of year. So it often touches both pregnancies and birth and life and death. And it's not always a real death, but it can be a change, you know. Some old part of you might be dying, or you renew yourself and so on. Let's see, Virgo. What does the cards have in store for Virgo for February 2020? I'm almost saying 19 always. So Okay. Oh. Nice. Oh shit. This is going to be a lay with depth in it. This is not just a trivial. So let's see. Let's see. It seems like until now I will talk about the early past or things that has, yeah, the past overall, but mostly the early past. And that could also be because I'm late with this reading, so it might come things up in the past that is already happened in February for you, okay? So have that in mind, that some of you might have already experienced some of this. But I promise there is also something that you need to know about the future. And when it comes to the early past, it seems like, because this card is a very restless card, and it often comes with that there has been a lot of new ideas, fresh and mental a fresh mentality in a way, that a fresh way of thinking, and it seems like there has been a lot of motion and change for you in the early past. And because this is a very strange and restless card, and is talking about the variety, different sacrifices and carefulness. It's also talking about carefulness. And when it comes to this, it can talk about somebody that works in a very unstable way, that puts a lot of energy into something for a while and then do nothing. People that work on their own, and or are their own boss or something like that, is of course they have to do this in that way, because the variety of work and the amount of work can be different, you know. So, but if I'm going to talk about what's negative about it, it's negative. Sorry, I'm talking a little bit Norwegian in it. but it's almost the same. Negative and negative or negative. So, but I will continue. In a more negative way. This card can often point at a person that cannot handle to work very energetic over time, and for a long time. They can't work in an energy way. I don't know what it is in English. You know, energy, but not in energy, but when you put energy into something, some of you, it might point at somebody that can't work very hard and energetic for a very long time, and boredom and fear to be trapped in to be caught in a trap is or maybe a restless, airy mind or brain can have the fault of this. So, but this person the card is talking about, and probably is you, that talks about you can achieve things and be successful and happy because but you just have to accept the fact that you need mental stimulation and change, because as I said, if you have problems with putting a lot of energy into a work in over a long time, can be a problem for you, but you can, as I said, still succeed. But you just have to accept yourself, the fact that you need continuous mental stimulation and changes. And this card is also talking about theft. Because this card is Seven Swords, is a airy card, you know, and it's probably telling you about somebody stealing ideas more than merchandise from you or things. It seems like somebody might steal some ideas of you. You know, just like Angel Wings does. If some of you know her. Sorry, no, I'm not going to drag her into this. But yeah, this is also a warning about people stealing your best ideas. And more than it seems, it's not money or things, it's more about stealing ideas. And you should be careful to let other people take part in your thoughts when this card comes up, because if not, you might realize that somebody is trying to steal your favorite project or something like that from you, or your ideas, as I said. And maybe this is also a betrayal that is that was not meant to be committed, but maybe there could also be a unconscious, mindless thing that could impact your life in some way. And when it comes to and it seems like especially creative ideas that you have come up with. It seems like somebody might have stealing your favorite project or something like that, you know, that you have tell somebody that you have been friends with. Maybe if you have found out this already, because this is in the past, so you might already know this, that somebody has already stolen your favorite project or your best ideas or dreams that you have let them know about. And probably this person or people might not even be in your life today. And I was getting an email a couple of days ago that somebody said to me if I could use some examples of people I know or because this is a sun, moon and rising in Virgo, so it might even be Venus in Virgo, because and I know some people that have moon in Virgo. I think Cam, I think you have moon in Virgo, if you're listening to this. I know my sister-in-law has moon in Virgo. So this is also sun, moon and rising, remember that. And you definitely have seen this as a betrayal, and will have looked at this as a betrayal and sneaky tactics, you know. But overall, Virgo, seems to have been a very restless time for you, that you have been having a restless mind, especially until now. And when it comes to the next card, my heart drops to the floor because I just feel so badly that there are somebody that has let you down big time, you know. And it seems like a lot of you Virgos, and especially the people that is listening to this, I need to hear this now in the presence. It tells me about that you have a lot of oh, let me see what it is in English. I will look it up. Plager. What is that in English? Torment. Plager. Wait a little bit. Translate. Thank God for Google. So you just have to be a little patient with me. But I will promise you it will be worth it, Virgo. Yeah, it talks about great plagues. Let me listen to this.
Great plagues.
Plagues. It seems like bothers, you know, that there has been a lot of fear and anxiety, because Oh, my heart is so heavy right now, but when I and this heaviness, it comes from maybe you've been feeling a lot of social anxiety and nervousness, and that you feel like there has been a lot of things to celebrate, but this anxiety and this that you have been bothered, and there has been a lot of fear and anxiety, and this anxiety may come from feeling that you're some of you might even have nightmares, because this card stands for a very negative, that you are in a very negative place, a very dark place, full of fear and suffering. All this can come from the total of a very difficult time, and that there has been building up a lot of stress and worry, and this is, you have just reached, you have the cup is full, you know, with stress and worry, and this is just the total of a very difficult time for you. And it seems for many of you that there's no place that you can turn to, that there's no place to hide. And I almost cry when I say this, that this is almost the hardest card in the Little Arcana. And maybe your sleep is erupted with the nightmares or strong anxiety, or the feeling of an undefined danger. Maybe you don't know what's the reason for this anxiety and fear. And because when you don't know the reason, that makes it more hard to do something about it, you know, because it's just there. It's easier to know if you know that you are scared of cats, you know, then you avoid cats. But when you don't know where the fear, why you have the fear and anxiety, it's more difficult to know what to do to heal it, you know. And as I said, some of you might have been losing sleep and been woke up by nightmares or strong anxiety, or as I said, the feeling of undefined danger. And sometimes this card can also point at a real sickness that is the reason, or if it's not sickness, it might be what is that in English? That maybe even neighbors you have bothersome neighbors, or it might be a painful relationship, or maybe even a newly death that is the reason for this sadness. Or maybe everything about it. It might be all of them, you know. Might be even maybe you have bothersome neighbors or a painful relationship, or maybe even a newly death. And the despair over all of this may have grown to great proportions, and it seems like it's have been getting out of control. And my heart is so heavy. It seems like there's dear Virgo, it seems like there's a very negative atmosphere around you. And sometimes it should not be excluded that it might come from yourself, that is created by yourself, this negative atmosphere, that it's created by yourself. The solution must come from inside. But even though this solution should come from inside, this knowledge must not reduce the worry that you have, Virgo, and your pain and anxiety. It must not reduce the worry over your anxiety or your pain. But all of this points at an escape, and a solution, because the problems, you must meet the problems and overcome them, you know. Because when this card shows up, it's pointing at a very dark night for the soul. And it means, without exception, accomplished, I think is that in English, complicated, I think it means. Because without exception, it means that it's a very complicated situation, and from time to time it seems like this suffering that lies inherited in this card is being blown out of proportions, you know. And when it's like that, sometimes it's not more than a reasonable person shows up with a useful solution, you know. That you need somebody to, when this is blown up out of proportions, sometimes it's nothing more that needs that it's only a reasonable person that can come with a useful solution for you. And sometimes it's just time and courage that can heal the wounds, you know, and the hurting. And when it comes to I will look at these extra cards too. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of social life and happy, many things that is it's not everything, even though your feelings or your inner self is like that. It shows that there are maybe a lot of invites or yeah. Because when I look at these cards together overall, maybe some of this worrying is about that you have some of the hidden things for you are. You have a lot of sevens in this lay, Virgo. Though just one of them is the right way. No, it's two, sorry, the right way, and one upside down. But this one that is upside down is very dreamy. Seven of Cups is upside down, is very dreamy. And it seems to, this is what's hidden for you, you know. This is maybe also a good advice and something that you need to hear, but you might not have thought about it yourself or know about it yourself, you know. In this placement, this Seven of Cups is common upside down, is standing for very dreamy, that it seems like you feel like you're not really in touch with reality in some way. This might be that all this anxiety and pain or sickness or bothersome neighbors or lost relationship, it might be all of those things that is the reason for this dreaminess, that you feel like you like there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of choices, but none of them seems to be, when you want to touch them, it seems like they disappear, and they are not real, and or might talk about a feeling of dreaminess, like untouched with reality, and the feeling that you're not grounded. Because it seems like there's is something negative with these promises or these fantasies or dreams that this card stands for when it comes upside down, because it's a warning about disappointment. Maybe you or somebody else is not, it might not be you, but it might be somebody else that is fooling you. Maybe you are fooling yourself or live in a fantasy world. Because sometimes this card points at losing yourself by drinking too much, using dope or drugs, or overall lose the sense of the practical reality in other ways. If the cards tell you not to lay back and rest and be lazy if you should have a little success lately, because there's a danger that you will lean back and fantasize about future triumph and forget to work to put them into reality. And when it comes to personal relationship, the card can point at a feeling of disappointment and delusion, because it is pointing at dangerous delusions, this card, very much. But if it's talking about personal relationship, it talks about a feeling of disappointment and delusion, and that there are uncertainness about the emotions, and that the things may seem foggy because of fantasies you have created yourself, and that you feel like it's hard to be objective. And the card is saying clearly that you should not take unreversible decisions right now, Virgo. And when it comes to conflict, it seems like this conflict also, because the next card is also pointing at unrealistic atmosphere and lack of what is that in English? Lack of context, you know, and yeah, it seems like the problem is that it's pointing at an unrealistic atmosphere and lack of context. You or somebody close to you is bothered by nightmares or foggy, intuitive feelings that is very hard to understand. And this might be the reason for a lot of trouble, that there are lack of context, and that overall it seems like there are very unrealistic atmosphere around you. And again, this card also is pointing at drugs, or if you're sick, it might be your medicine, that you're taking medicine that makes you see unclear. And if you are using drugs or drinking a lot or trying to escape your feelings somehow in a way, it seems like it's a clear warning about, if you want to get better, you have to get clean, you know, and stop drinking and to come in touch with reality again. And if this is a person, it might be somebody that it might be a water sign. For me, this water sign usually is Pisces. That's somebody that has Pisces in their chart. Or it might be somebody that has Earth in the chart. And as I said, if it's a person that is making, you see, unclear or making things difficult, it might be a Pisces, Scorpio or Cancer. That is very negative for you. But it can also be you that creates this atmosphere for this water sign or earth sign. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. So it's both pointing at you being the reason for this and somebody else. It might be one of them or both of them. That you both are unrealistic and creating this negative atmosphere around you, Virgo. And it might also be, as I said earlier, I just said it, that earth sign, it might be a Capricorn, but it, as I said, it can be a Virgo, Capricorn, and it can be Taurus. But the feeling I get from it is that that the problem I don't know how to say this without defending anyone, but maybe it can also be your children that is affected negative, or you're feeling that it might be too much for you, that the trouble and the problem, it might also be the problem is that maybe you have children to raise, and with this feeling and this anxiety and pain and sickness or everything of it, it's difficult to be the to raise children too, you know. But maybe if it's not that about the children, it might be also be that because of all this pain and sickness, you might not be able to work. And this says, as Virgo, most of Virgos are very good at work, and for many Virgos it's very important to have a job. And with this, when you feel like this, and your health and your anxiety and pain and suffering and this unrealistic atmosphere, all of these things that I've been talking about, it seems like the feeling of that I should go to work and do something, but I can't, you know. And of course, Virgo, of course you can't work when you have all these problems. And you should not feel guilty about that. I feel like that is a very strong thing that comes to me, that I should tell you, that give a fuck about that job. And though you might not earn a lot of money or have a lot of money. That's not the important thing, as long as you have food on the table and roof over your head. The most important thing now is that you find, for those of you that are medicating yourself with drugs or alcohol or too much medicine, remember that this is a very big obstacle for your success. And it seems like that the problem is that you don't have a job, or that you're thinking about that you should go to work or should have worked. But no, don't feel and think about it. And this is a bit of a double meaning, because for some of you it might be that you need to go to job and get a job and work, so you will feel like you don't live in this negative atmosphere and that you are a resource, you know. But at the same time, for some of you, don't worry about that job or your what is that in English? Pliktoppfyllende. Let me see. Your sense of responsibility, or your consciousness should not be torn down because you cannot work right now, because you have obviously a lot on the table that you need to solve. And as I said earlier, it might even be a person that is just a reasonable person, because maybe you have created a lot of this negative atmosphere yourself. And when you do that and you don't see the forest for just trees, as I used to always say, it's sometimes it's all that you need is one person that is reasonable and practical to come with a perfect solution for you, you know. And this person might be a Sagittarius. I'm a Virgo with Sagittarius rising, ascendant. So maybe there are some Virgos out there that needs my help. I know some Virgos, but I'm not thinking about people I know when I do this reading, because it's a general reading and this is for everyone. And I'm just saying what the cards and my guides and spirits are telling me. And intuition, of course. But this focus on on material things must come in second, because now the first priority you should have is take care of yourself and get help if you need help. And I know you need help, because this is a general reading, and for those people, everything I say is for those who need to hear it. And I got a comment my last reading from somebody very stupid, actually, because I can take criticism, no problem. But the music I have in background, is a lot of people say that it's soothing to listen to. So many of my clients wants me to put this out, and subscribers wants me to have this music in the background. And if you don't want me to have that, you should ask for a personal reading. And I'm not expensive. I'm just taking $20 per question. And one question of reading might last for a whole hour. So I'm not selfish or greedy, because I want everybody to afford to get help, you know. And if you don't want this music in the background, no problem. But then I have to do a private reading, because most subscribers and clients wants me to have this music in the background. So, and I like it too. So I don't care. If you don't like it, maybe this is not for you. As I answered him, good luck in finding your reader, because then this reading is not for you. And maybe he should getting a hearing aid, because if he thinks that the music is too loud that you don't hear what I'm saying, then you have a hearing problem. But I understood what he was after, but when I answered him, he didn't say anything more. So, but when I have said that, it seems like the Sagittarius, and this might be somebody that has a prominent Sag in their chart, that might have Sun, Moon and Rising, or Venus in Sagittarius. So this person will be a lot of help for you, both will be a lot of help for you, because the card often points at temperance, you know, is pointing at a lot of things. But and I also have put up an extra card, and the extra card is telling me that you need rest. And because it comes in a placement that points how on your circumstances and surroundings and other people and how they relate to this reading, is pointing at the thought about stability with rest. And maybe for some of you, rest and reconvalescence is demand when you get this card, because maybe a quiet time let you sort your mind and thoughts out, and rest and reevaluate what you already have achieved, and just rest and enjoy a peaceful time. Maybe some of you have been gone to the hospital, or been hospitalized to rest, and as I said, just be stable again and sort your thoughts out and reevaluate what you already have achieved, and just enjoy the peace, you know. And that points back again at this because if you reflect yourself a lot in your home, and you have kids to raise, it can be hard to be selfish and just think about yourself and find yourself in peace and quiet when you have children to raise, because they need you 100%, you know. And for you, those of you, I know one actually that has been hospitalized and needed that break. And for you that haven't been there or need to be there, or just need some peace and quiet, and that might be the solution for you, most of you, to retract to a health farm or to a religious place that or just a conscious retraction from the world for a time. It can be good for you, Virgo, right now, because you need help and rest to sort all this out, because it seems like your sleep and this anxiety and pain and everything that has just reached a final. And for some of you, because I'm a late, as I said in the beginning of the reading, I'm a little late, so this might already happen. It might happen by the time February is over, or short after, or at least some of you just because this card must be taken serious, and maybe you just need to pull the plug from your telephone and just turn your mobile off, and just stop going out and just take it easy for a while, you know. Because the cards tells me that this has not been and will not be a forced thing, because it seems like this is something you will do freely, or have done freely with your own wanting, so, and your own free will. So it seems like everything has just grown out of proportion, and it's the total of pain and anxiety and nightmares and sickness, and all of this has just reached the top, and your cup is full and it's flowing over, you know. So now you needed this rest, and when it comes to this SAG card, you know, it's talking about, or temperance, as it is in English. Måtehold is the card's name in Norwegian, and it seems like this person or this card brings a balanced it seems like you can see both sides in discussions, and that you solve problems with the great luck right now, because for some of you this person might make you feel calm, or maybe you feel like you have control over everything that is put on your plate, or the destiny has thrown at you. But it seems like you might be very ready to take not achieve, but ready to let people give you solutions, you know. Because it seems like when it comes to the surroundings, there is something that will help you with these difficulties in work, maybe, or even personal relationship, and that it seems like friends is getting to that if you have been fighting with somebody or something like that, it seems like some of you might come to a solution and find back to each other and kiss and make up, you know. And this disagreement and overcome this disagreement, and because this is a very good card to when you, if you're starting new projects, because this card is often, it's mostly pointing at a person. That's the reason I mentioned Sagittarius first, because this person will obviously, probably, most likely have Sag in the rising or sun or moon in Sag. So because when this card lies in the surroundings and what other people do to has to do with this problem or this lay reading, it's pointing at it stands for a person or a side to a human being that might be very good at working in groups, you know. And it seems like this is a person that will make everybody oh, what is that in English, make that will drive through and make make everybody the best of themselves, you know. A person that is almost like a diplomat that is making other persons succeed and grow, and is very good at working in groups. So because we all know that temperance is the silence and that quiet voice between the storms, you know, because it comes between death, the card 13, that is death, and tower. So this is almost like the quiet before the storm, in a saying. And it seems like this person is your savior in many ways. And this person might also be a Virgo or a earth sign, as I said. Because the next card shows that this person that will light up the fight in you, you know, to make you work very hard and achieve something. This person is very, 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 very good to seeing the best in people and making people achieve and help people to have success. This person is almost like an angel that comes and help you, you know. And it might be an earth sign. As I said, it might, because the next card that is the advice you are getting is that this is how should I say that? This is a time of trial and error, as they said, and that the advice is the card is telling you that sometimes things might get so heated that they almost can't be handled, you know, and they may seem very challenging, and the need to win may be very strong. And the card is telling you that you must count on and rely on that there might be fight and difficulties of some kind that you in your life, but though you might feel like this conflict is in yourself, or if it is with others, maybe you discover new and uneasy wishes, you know, and ambitions because of this fighting or this fighting, this fight that you might do. It might be inside of you, as I said. So when you go for this fight, if you do that, you will achieve so much. But you know that this adrenaline that lies in Five of Wands is because it's telling about fights often done, but it's more like a pretend fight, you know. It's not a real fight with fists, and it's more it's not a dangerous fight but it can also point in the fight that is in you, and that you just should be, because it comes in a placement with advice, and the advice is to just take it easy, take your time, not rush into anything, though you might feel a little bit eager to win this fight inside yourself or over somebody else, but none of this will end very bad, you know. It's nothing, it's not a big deal, and I feel like there will come big changes after this. And it seems like for some of you that if you lose yourself in fight with somebody or someone else, that you should retract from it, because it can be brutal for some of you if you do that now in this vulnerable state and with this unrealistic negative atmosphere around you. It's not a good thing to, because when we are not in a very good place, we might create fights and discussions, and some with people without meaning to hurt them, you know. And that some of you must think about that when when you get angry for something, because when you are not in a good place, it's easy to become aggressive and angry and irritable, you know. So, but maybe you feel that you are not capable to get anywhere right now. But do not try, because you are now in a place with a temporary pause in your life, and that you will not be capable to achieve any change, great changes right now. And as I said, I don't think this fight that Five of Wands is talking about, when the advice is, I think this is the fight in you, you know, that is not all. And when you fight with yourself, inside yourself, you know, and I'm talking about the negative, that if you see yourself as as two persons fighting and talking shit to each other, to this is a clear advice about not taking things too seriously, and not to fight against this pause that you have in your life, because the last card is talking about this temporary pause that you have now in your life, and that you will not be capable of doing any changes right now, and that you should not take any reasonable decisions, because right now you probably waiting to hear news or to listen to what other people think, or waiting for other people to act. Patience is a deed, you know, and try to yeah, try to cultivate or grow this patience, because as I said, patience is a deed, and try to cultivate, or what is in English, or grow it, because and just enjoy being at a temporary pause and at the restroom. You know, because it's not it's nothing more that is good for you right now than enjoying this patience and this waiting room. Just enjoy the waiting room, and because I promise you that you will not be there forever in this waiting room or this pause in your life. You will not be there forever, and the card is also pointing at the thought of sacrifice, because sometimes you have to give something up to win something else, you know. And we all know that Virgos are very good at, or should I say, very bad at changes. We can, even if it's a bad thing, we keep them because we know them, and Virgos might very often have a hard time of letting go of things and or start something new, you know. So, but the card is, as I said, is also pointing at the sacrifice, and that you have to sacrifice something to win something else. And maybe you, for some of you, maybe you have had to leave a stable, a certain job that didn't lead you nowhere, just to be able to achieve a more giving career and successful career, because maybe even a personal relationship have just locked itself completely. Maybe things have been frozen, or maybe you feel like you are claustrophobic, caught in a trap, and maybe you, if that is the reason, is the case for you, for some of you, maybe you just should give up your ideas on about how a relationship should be, and look what happened if you just throw the conventional on the sea for a while and just turn everything on their head. You know, because sometimes we are locked in a way of thinking about how a relationship should be, and that often people, we can't rule over somebody else, only ourselves, and be responsible for ourselves. So, and sometimes maybe it's your ways of thinking or being, or the card is telling you that maybe you should give some of these ideas about how things should be. As I said, especially about work, that you should work. I know many of you are thinking that because you now can't work because of all these problems or sickness or all of them. And just say fuck it. Yeah, just say fuck it. Because a job doesn't define you or who you are, you know. And sometimes Virgos are often very good at not seeing the forest for just trees, you know. So sometimes it's good to let go of some negative behavior or way of thinking we have, or even giving up some expectations on how a relationship or on how things should be, because it's not always good for you, especially if you cannot achieve the things that you think that are the only right thing. If you can't achieve that right now, it's not good for you to focus on that, you know. I will lay some extra cards for you, Virgo. I wish you very good luck with that. And I think I've said what I needed to be said. But I will also see what the angels, maybe you are lucky to have an archangel come out, or just some message from the angels to you, Virgos. Sun, moon and rising for February. Give me something for Virgo for February 2020. Sorry. I'm always doing it. Oh, I'm probably not going to say 2020 before summer is here, you know. It's also a little bit heavier to say, you know. 2020, 19. It's so light and easy. But let's see, for February 2020 for Virgo, what message has the angels for Virgo? And since you, because of the Nine of Swords in the presence, I will, and all that the card stands for, and I know what many of you are going through, I will even maybe put 2 cards for you. Or would that be unfair? No, I will do 1. Okay? Let's see what the angels has in store for Virgo for February. A message for the Virgo for February. I will tell you short about the 1 card that pulled out. The card is saying that the gifts of money, time or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan or paying off debts. So since that fall out, but I just wanted to read that for you, because as I said in my reading earlier, I said that some of you focusing on the material things and job, or not be able to work, and how that bothers you. So I just wanted to tell you, since I saw it was 6 of Earth, so that was a nice message. But let's see. Oh, the cards are so warm. Ace of Air you got was the message. The message is brilliant new ideas and inspirations, seeing the truth of a situation and a challenging beginning. And that also points at what I said in the end, you know, that the fight in you, it will not come easy, and that you just have to relax and just embrace the waiting room right now and be patient, because it will come. but you have to regain some strength and get back some health, and you know, take care of yourself. Maybe go to a spa or something like that. And I will read it was Ace of Air, and the card is talking about new ideas. Now take flight. Expect great inspiration to come, possibly from an event or a situation that had previously troubled you. Now you see the opportunity to create something amazing, and you're full of excitement. Focus on your thoughts, on your long-term goals, and create a plan of action. You now see the truth of the situation. Confusion is gone, and clarity has taken its place. Your new understanding replaces previous misconceptions. So now you're ready to move forward. Oh, that was nice. And the additional meaning of the card is, as I said, a challenging beginning. A challenging I just can't say it. I'm so dry in my mouth. I just have to drink something. Sorry. Challenging beginning and turning a negative into a positive. A brilliant intellectual solution. And I know this will come to you, but you have to be patient, and you have to rest, and you have to use this Mercury retrograde to pick up the pieces and go inside yourself, because you know, Virgos, especially the Sun Virgo, you know, you have a light inside of you. Remember, if you have seen the tarot card, the Hermit that represents Virgo is holding the light, you know, in front of him, that shines so bright, though the rest of the card is very gray. And it shows a wise old man holding this light, you know. He's holding this lamp in front of him, and high up in front of him. And in tarot, this Hermit card, that light symbolizes his knowledge, his spiritual knowledge, you know. And now, Virgos, you have to reach this light, wisdom of light inside of you, and use this Mercury retrograde. So I hope this is helpful for some of you. And I will at the end say that this February will be a time that you will receive help, and you might even give help, but most receive, and you should receive it and accept it, because you are a very giving person at this time, and share your thoughts with people you trust. And as I said, though you might have been born in the early past or near past, or what I should call it, with people stealing your ideas or betraying you or even lying to you and so on, but open your hand and you will receive. Give and you will receive. That's my last word for you, Virgo. Take your time. Enjoy this moment. Blessed be. And if you want a personal reading, as I said, only $20 per question. And it will be whatever time it takes. It's no special time. And I will keep this for a while. So if you want a private reading, contact me on earthangeltarot. And we will talk there. If you want to contribute or want more of these readings, let me know, because it's always good to have positive feedback. And as I said, if you want a personal reading, contact me on earthangeltarot@hotmail.com. And yeah, and if you want to contribute something, a little gift, whatever, I would greatly appreciate it. My PayPal will be in the link below the video in the description, so you can also find my PayPal on my headline on the front page. And yeah, Virgo, I think that's all you need to know right now. And that was a lot. Oh my God. But so meaningful, though. Good luck, Virgo. I'm voting for you. You are stronger than you think you are. Maybe you just need new ways to think or new people in your life. Okay? Good luck. Blessed be. Bye.